Last videos asked us to cover this topic, and I was happy to oblige because I absolutely adore long leashes. They are such an incredible, versatile tool, and I really want to encourage more owners to use them. So hopefully this video will help do just that. What are long leashes? A long leash is technically any leash that is longer than a standard, traditional 4 to 6 foot leash. Long leashes come in a variety of sizes, but the most popular ones include 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet, 50 feet, and yes, even 100 feet. For a bit of perspective, here's what it looks like when Remy is on a 20-foot line, and here he is on a 50-foot line. Why do long leashes rock? Long leashes are awesome because they allow your dog to experience the feeling of off-leash freedom without actually needing to unclip your dog. Offering dogs the chance to sniff and explore their surroundings freely provides tremendous physical and mental benefits for them. But let's be real, not all dogs should be off-leash. In fact, most dogs probably shouldn't be off-leash at all. We discussed this in our recall video, but if you're not 98% certain your dog will come when called, they should not be off-leash, period. Most long leashes are designed to be super lightweight, mimicking the sensations of off-leash action while keeping your dog safe. What are long leashes used for? Long leashes can be used for a variety of situations, such as practicing recall.
Remy, come.
Long leashes are fantastic for practicing your dog's recall in a variety of new environments and at varying lengths. Even if your dog doesn't come when called, a long line allows you to still stay in control of your dog and prevent him from taking off. Training in new environments. In addition to recall work, long leashes are perfect for practicing any training command in a new or challenging outdoor environment. From polishing a stay command to mat training practice for outdoor bars and cafes, a long leash allows you to work on a variety of training goals outdoors in public areas while still staying safe and with a built-in safety net in case your dog stops listening and bolts off after a squirrel across the street. Off-leash practice. Long leashes are an incredible resource for working on your dog's listening skills so that he can eventually be off-leash one day in the future. You can use long leashes during walks to give your dog more distance and freedom, and then practice recalling or asking for focus. If your dog can't manage to do that on a long leash, you know you have more work to do before any off-leash attempts. Bat training with reactive dogs. Long leashes can be a great asset for reactive dogs, especially when practicing bat training. BAT stands for Behavior Adjustment Training. BAT training is a practice that rewards a dog's calm behavior with increased freedom. With BAT work, you can take your dog to a park and offer your dog a chance to be in the vicinity of his triggers. So long as he stays calm, you can follow your dog as he sniffs around, keeping slack on the line and allowing your dog to move away from his triggers. Dogs tend to do a lot better on long lines than short leashes because they feel less restricted. Short leashes can cause your dog to feel trapped and can heighten their anxiety. When dogs feel like they have plenty of room to escape, they can relax a bit more around their triggers. This is also why you should try to keep the leash loose when working with a reactive dog during walks. Sniffaries. My favorite way to use a long leash is for sniffaries. A sniffari is a walk where your dog leads the way as you let him sniff to his heart's content. If he wants to go smell that tree, you follow him and give him all the slack he needs. Does he suddenly want to check out that trash can? Yes, go for it. Sniffing is an immensely rewarding enrichment activity for dogs. It's been shown to reduce canine stress and boost happiness. One study found sniffing even lowers a dog's pulse. The study also noted that dogs on a long leash spent 280% more time sniffing than dogs on a short leash. In my opinion, structured walks are completely overrated. Just about every walk Remy and I go on is a mini sniffari, and I try to let Remy sniff as much as possible. But on a long line, Remy really gets full rein to explore and sniff everything around him. Giving your dog that extra slack to sniff and explore also ensures you get the most bang for your buck during walks. The truth is that many dogs will benefit more from a short, sniff-packed stroll than embarking on miles of structured walk, since sniffing is so mentally enriching for canines. For especially scared or skittish dogs, you might be better off just letting your dog go on a sniffari around your cul-de-sac rather than forcing him to journey outside the neighborhood where he'll have to contend with his scary triggers. Of course, working on your dog's fears through desensitization and counter-conditioning is always a great goal, but there's also nothing wrong with making your dog's outdoor time work for your dog and their individual needs. Remy has been having some leg issues lately, so instead of long exercise walks, we focus on short, sniff-loaded walks. In fact, we don't even walk more than a quarter or half of a mile for walks, but they still end up lasting about 30 minutes because Remy is given the freedom to sniff anything and everything he wants, which turns out to be just about everything we see. How to use a long line. You can use a long line a few different ways. Many trainers advocate for actually dropping the line onto the ground and letting it drag. This can definitely be a bit scary for some owners, which is why it's a great intermediary step before experimenting with off-leash action. So long as you stay close to your dog and monitor their body language, you should have plenty of time to step on the drag line if your dog tries to take off. I like to work with the drag line when practicing commands at the park or big open spaces. You can also hold the long line at the handle, as you would with any standard leash. This setup makes a lot of sense on neighborhood walks or around busy streets, where you really want the option to quickly have extra control over your dog. The same applies to reactive dogs. I have no issue walking Remy in the vicinity of other dogs with a long line, but letting the leash drag is just a bit too frightening, especially because I know how quickly Remy can lunge towards another dog when he wants to. Long leash tips and tricks. Before we leave you to it, let's cover a few quick tips for long line action. Knots may be your friend. If you plan on letting the leash drag and stepping on it when required, consider adding some knots every 10 feet or so into your dog's long line. Depending on your footwear, nylon long leashes can slide a little under your foot, but having a knot to step on provides more traction and will ensure your pup stays put. Use a back clip harness. You'll probably want to opt for a back clip harness for long leash walks. This is because your dog can really do some serious damage to his throat if he builds up momentum and runs full throttle before slamming against the end of the line. Plus, dogs tend to get less tangled up when using the back clip option as opposed to the front clip setup. Avoid tension. Since the main value of long leashes is their ability to mimic off-leash freedom, you'll want to make sure you put as little tension on the long line as possible. Of course, stop your dog when you need to, but do your best to really give your pup some space to explore. Skip the retractable leashes. Retractable leashes aren't a good substitute for a long line, as they provide a constant source of low-level tension. They're also not great for loose leash walking, since a retractable leash requires that your dog puts light but constant pressure against the leash. Watch out for snags. If you're using a long line for hiking along trails, just keep an eye out for trees and branches your dog could get snagged in. If you do a lot of wooded walks, biothane long leashes may be a good option, since they don't usually snag as easily as standard nylon long leashes. Wrapping up the leash. I've found the easiest way to manage long leash slack is to just wrap it in large circles as you might wrap an extension cord, and slowly let out and rewrap the extra line as needed. Well, that's about it. I hope this video has encouraged you guys to try out a long line with your dog. We have links to our favorite long lines in the description below, as well as a link to our full written guide on long leashes at Canine of Mine.